Over the past few days, reports have swirled that pop legend Sir Elton John has been seeking a chat with President Putin about gay rights here in Russia. And much to people's surprise, Sir Elton posted Putin's photo on Instagram. Indeed, it seems genuinely thanking the Russian leader for speaking to him and that he was looking forward, indeed, to meeting him in person in the future. But the story took another twist. Shortly afterwards, the president's spokesman denied that call had taken place, although Dmitry Peskov did say that President Putin would actually be very ready to talk to Sir Elton if the pop star made contact first. Now, the singer's publicist then dug in, insisting the pair really did have a phone chat, so it's all a bit confusing. So was there a call? Wasn't there a call? Was it a hoax? Ilya Petrenka's on the case of this. I think it probably was a hoax, it turns out, yeah?
Well, everyone was baffled. But then on Wednesday, one of Russia's most famous pranksters, Vovan, tweeted something like, "What is wrong with Elton John?" or "What's going on with him?" And this is when the first people made the first guesses that it could have actually have been his doing. And in a few hours, the prankster confirmed it. He confirmed that he teamed up with someone else to carry out this evil prank. And that's when the world found out that the conversation that Sir Elton John proudly announced on Instagram as a conversation between him, Mr. Putin, and Putin's press secretary, Dmitry Peskov, was actually him talking to two pranksters from Russia, from Moscow, just two ordinary guys. Yeah. But during that phone call, Elton John was psyched. He was so happy that the president responded to his suggestion of them having a conversation. And here's a bit of those precious 10 minutes of prankster art.
Здравствуйте, сэр Элтон. Я высоко ценю ваш вклад в мировую музыкальную культуру и борьбу за права человека.
It's a great privilege to be able to speak to one of the most influential people in the whole world. It's amazing. I've loved Russia since 1979 when I first came there, and I love Russian people very dearly, and I love the country. I've always had so much kindness.
I mean, Sir Elton takes this very seriously. He was genuinely taking that seriously and been very nice back. He must be absolutely gutted here. Did anything actually come out of that conversation of any positiveness?
Well, as I've mentioned, it was quite a long conversation. It was serious. They were talking about gay rights in Russia. And at some point, it got to the point when Sir Elton John said that this was not no longer something that they could discuss on the phone. And he said that he'd actually love to meet the Russian president face to face. And that's when they started negotiating that with fake Vladimir Putin. And this is how it was going on.
If both our offices can find a convenient date where we can convene and have a really wonderful discussion, then would be a miracle, and it would be fantastic, and it would be a dream come true.
Это хорошая идея. К сожалению, у меня очень жесткий график, но я постараюсь найти для нашей встречи время где-то в середине ноября.
That would be fantastic. I thank him so much. I'm sure we will have a great meeting.
Well, you met the hoaxers in person just a bit earlier on here in the studio, didn't you? What did he have to say to you?
Yes, it was an exclusive interview, and I talked to these guys. You know, it didn't seem at all like they just planted a media bomb that exploded. I mean, there was so much media attention to this in the UK, here in Russia. They just fooled one of the most famous people in the world, pretending to be one of the most influential politicians in the world. But they looked like they just called an ex-girlfriend or fooled an ex-classmate. So this is how they described they were able to do it and how they were preparing for it.
It was interesting that Elton John had something to say to Vladimir Putin. Unfortunately, Vladimir Putin was busy with other things and he was abroad. And we thought, why not take this over?
We managed to reach Elton John's agents rather quickly, and there weren't in any doubt that we were the wrong people.
It was really hard to get his phone number, though.
Well, I guess Elton's going to be saying for his cause, no publicity is bad publicity, etc., etc. I guess with hindsight, it's kind of hard to believe, though, that he and his management bought that. Well, he just couldn't see it coming, could he?
But they did buy it. I mean, he announced it to millions of his viewers on Instagram. Then, as you've mentioned, his publicist confirmed that, and they seem to have believed it from the very start of that conversation until the very end. And I asked the two guys how it actually worked out for them, how they managed to do that. Well, what they told me was absolutely incredible.
Now, these guys are pretty famous, though, aren't they?
In Russia, yes.
We read interviews with them to understand what they are like and whether we could imitate that person. It's clear that Elton John had never talked to Vladimir Putin, and that's why it was hard for him to establish who was really calling.
It was a surprise for him, and actually Elton was looking forward to the chat, so we gave him what he wanted, and he wasn't in any doubt.
Well, I guess the good news at the end of it is, for Sir Elton John at least, the Kremlin saying, well, you know, the lines are open here for communication. Make us an official offer to meet up, to talk, and then we will get back to you. That's the message coming across from the Kremlin, isn't it?
Well, yes. Well, I can tell you that this is getting international, though, so please do warn celebrities back home that they can be next.
Yeah, and
beware.
watch this space. You never know what's coming next. All right, Ilya, thank you for explaining that rather complicated story to us.